My rule on these is if you want to be involved with the Chamber of Commerce or you want to be involved with the Rotary Club because you want to be involved,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it just to get business, it's not effective. Like, to only go to those things because that's something that excites you, that you want to be more involved with your community, you want to be more involved with a club, an organization, then go.
As a real estate agent, you are the source of business for lots of people because you're out there dealing with the consumer, right? So you're the source of business for the inspector, for insurance people, for mortgage people, for whatever, because you have direct access to the consumer. Important thing is to find out what are you really, what's your value proposition to a client? Your value proposition to a client is not paperwork. It's strategy, it's marketing ability, it's expertise, it's market knowledge, right? It is not delivering or forwarding stuff to the title company or forwarding stuff to the lender. Okay, let's talk about agent traps, where agents get trapped with their time and energy. And, a lot of this, as a lot of these podcasts go, sometimes they come out of, frustration of having the same conversation over and over again. And so I kind of get it out on a podcast. This is definitely one of those times. By the way, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it. Okay, so let's just dive in. So the first thing is business cards. There's so much talk about business cards when an agent is new. Hey, because we have like in our brokerage, we have sort of a preset design you can choose from they're like, hey, can I go out on my own and get my business cards? Here's what I want to do, this and that. Look, business cards are not going to make you money. Okay. They're merely a verification piece. Do they need to look nice? Sure. Do they need to look professional? Absolutely. I usually order a box every 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Box of 500 every 5 years because I'm just not giving them out that much. It's not important to me that someone has my information. It's more important than I have theirs.
Yeah. This is really, this is like area agnostic. Like, I remember even in the corporate world, like when someone started immediately, the first thing they wanted was that business card. It's like, and you're like, you were never going to give this out.
That's right.
I have a box of business cards for, 10 Oaks and Agent Bridge. I don't know that I've given one out in 2 years.
I'm telling you, it's just not really going to get you business, and you're not really going to be in situations where you should be giving them out. And so for each of these things, by the way, for each of these traps, I'm going to give you a sort of the opposite of what you should be doing. So in this case, it's instead of getting or giving your info to someone, I want you to get info from people. So instead of business cards, trade that for open houses. Trade that energy that you would give towards designing your business card and handing out business cards to going to an open house. And again, it is getting info from people rather than giving info. We had this discussion in a daily huddle today. We have a daily huddle for our brokerage every morning. And one of the agents was saying, hey, I'm going to have my business cards attached to an info sheet so that way people can have my information when they leave. And I said, no, don't do that, because that's only going to give them a reason not to give you their information. So as they're leaving, you'd be, hey, let me get your info so I can send you XYZ. They go, oh, that's okay. I'll call you. I've got your info. I'll call you. They're not calling you.
Yeah.
They're not calling you. So again, it's about getting info rather than giving info. So business cards are not that important.
And I would even further that to say getting info naturally, not a sign-up sheet, not a, where they just come and provide it on a big list. It needs to be a natural conversation where you're providing some sort of service, and in exchange, they're giving you info so that they can have information about whatever it is the service you're providing.
By the way, you can go visit our Agent Bridge YouTube website, right, and find our deal on open houses. I don't want to go too much into this, but you're absolutely right. The idea with an open house is that you don't have a sign-in sheet because in a sign-in sheet, they're going to give you incorrect or old information or the email they never check, right? If you make a natural connection with them and actually are service-based in your approach, they're going to give you accurate information, and it's going to be organic. So,
yeah.
Okay, the other thing, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but lunches with vendors. Now, here's what I will tell you. Not all lunches with vendors are bad. There's something good about, getting involved with the community, community of whether that's, lenders or insurance people or title people or whatever the case may be. But what a lot of agents do out of the gate, and this comes from as I've trained agents to make, like, look, you need to make this many of contacts per week. And like, okay, I went on this many appointments. I said, well, what are these lunch appointments? Well, that's with a mortgage lender. That's with an insurance person. That's with a home warranty person. Those are people who are trying to get business from you. They can't really do much for you in terms of getting you buyers and sellers. So my rule with vendors is one a week, not 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of vendors in this area that use this lunch tool as a way to build a book of business, and I think sometimes it works. I think more often that you get a lot of non-producing agents in your sphere
That's
is
right.
really what happens. I don't really focus on this because me personally, I feel like if I go out and close a loan very efficiently and effectively for you, that's the most important thing.
That's right.
Not whether I took you to Starbucks and got you a latte. It's how smooth is the process, and so I just focus on that.
Yeah, exactly. And so just make sure, instead of going to lunch with vendors, right? Which again, you can do it once a week. Who I want you going to lunch with is influential people in your sphere of influence, people that you go to church with, that your kids go to school with, or that your kids go to school together, that, somebody who's naturally a part of your community, that's an influential person, and call them, ask them to lunch and ask for their advice at lunch. Right. And that's going to go so much further by making genuine contacts in your sphere of influence versus just going to lunch or drinks with vendors. So make sure that you are trading vendor lunches for SOI lunches. Okay. The third thing, networking groups like Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club, networking group. These are also what I call like trading card conventions, right? Where basically people are going around and just trading their cards.
My rule on these is if you want to be involved with a chamber of commerce or you want to be involved with the Rotary Club because you want to be involved,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it just to get business, it's not effective. Like, only go to those things because that's something that excites you, that you want to be more involved with your community, you want to be more involved with a club, an
Mhm.
organization, then go. If that's the reason. But if it's to get business, it's just the wrong way to get business.
My personal experiences when I've gone to these things before, basically now all I've collected is a bunch of obligations with people that can't really help me build my business, right? They're more looking because here's what I can tell you. As a real estate agent, you are the source of business for lots of people because you're out there dealing with the consumer, right? So you're the source of business for the inspector, for insurance people, for mortgage people, for whatever, because you have direct access to the consumer. So lots of people want to you to be, or they want to be your sort of selected vendor for whatever process. So that's been my experience with these things as people wanting, has, hey, we should go to lunch sometime. We should do this. We should do that. And I kind of get caught up in a bunch of obligations that really aren't doing anything to move my business forward.
Yep.
So just, again, trade that for an actual small organic group of people. And this comes from my experience. I had a bi-monthly lunch with with one guy that was in mortgages, one guy that was in insurance, one guy that had, that was doing some government work, that worked at the state capitol, one guy that, so these guys, one guy that was a executive recruiter, and all of these people, because we were kind of small and it was more of an organic group and we were just kind of getting lunch together, more business came out of that than ever came out of any Chamber of Commerce,
Yep.
Rotary Club, BNI, anything. So, because again, to your point, it's organic. Okay. The next trap is going to be social media. Look at me, social media, and look at me, agent websites. Okay. And here's another thing that I can tell you about real estate agents. They go, hey, what's my agent website going to look like? Look, your agent website, unless you spend a substantial amount of money, is not going to get you business. It can be a landing page for, an IDX or something, and that's, running Facebook ads and getting leads. And there are companies that do that, but you just having an agent website, nobody's going to that. They're going to see you first on social media. And so what you want to do, instead of doing like, look at me or catchy social media, or agent website, you want to trade that for service-based social media. And I would stick with whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, I'd stick with one of them and get that down, get some repetition there, get some consistency there before you branch out and try to do too many social media deals at once. But again, it needs to be service-based. And I guess what I would say is like you need to be famous with the people you already know before you can be famous outside of that group.
Yeah. Too
And
often agents are like wanted to become Instagram famous,
yeah,
but like even the people in their own, circle don't know that they're a real estate agent. So
that's well, yeah, and because a lot of times in those, like what what goes viral has nothing to do with your
it's usually
business,
humor based.
right?
I mean, not always, but
Yeah,
usually. I
but a
mean,
lot of times, like something that I think is funny, and then I'll look at the copy in a reel, and I go, oh, they're actually like a business. Okay, well, they're I mean,
but it's like if you follow like people in the golf industry, they try to do funny like TikToks or funny Instagram videos or
yeah,
whatever, and those are the ones that typically go viral. You know, and just that's just the way it is.
right. But it's just not going to you going viral doesn't equal money. And so again, it's about doing things that are service based to attract or to stay top of mind with your sphere of influence. So again, trade that sort of internet fame or going viral for service based content that the people you know see and keeps you top of mind. Okay. Um, the last thing is transaction management. And this is one, and I've heard every excuse in the book from agents with differing levels of experience because there's this, misnomer out there that, oh, if I'm not doing the transaction, the all of the tiny little contract things and getting things to the title company, and I'm not micromanaging this, then my clients aren't going to think I'm working for them.
No, I hear this about showing assistance too.
Yeah,
It's all about setting expectations up front in some sort of collaborative meeting with the client at the beginning of the process.
sure.
You do that if you say, "Hey, look, once we get under contract, you're going to hear from this person." During showings, if I'm not available, you're going to see this person. And if those expectations are set, they're going to know that, hey, I'm in good hands. I have a team that's helping me through this process. That's all.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you think about like from a anywhere else in life, if you're like a doctor, your attorney, or whatever the case may be, right? You have people that are helping you, right? So for a doctor, they've got nurses and all of that stuff, and you might see the doctor once a day.
When you set an appointment at the dentist's office, do you call the dentist?
No,
No, you call the front desk and they
right?
set
And
the
then you've got a
appointment.
hygienist, and the dentist comes in for just a minute.
Yeah.
And so the important thing is to find out, it's like what are you really? What's your value proposition to a client? Your value proposition to a client is not paperwork. It's strategy, it's a marketing ability, it's expertise, it's market knowledge, right? It is not delivering or forwarding stuff to the title company or forwarding stuff to the lender, right? That's not what you get paid for. You get paid for your expertise, your market knowledge, all of those things. Okay. So yeah, don't get stuck being, and here's the other thing, as a lot of people go, it doesn't really take that much time to do a transaction. Well, here's what I can tell you. You become air traffic control for that transaction. So you're getting pinged multiple times a day with what are important items, and they are also relatively urgent. And so this will steal so much time from you if you don't do this, if you don't hire a transaction coordinator.
Yep.
Now, for a transaction coordinator, obviously you want to pick someone really, really good. There needs to be a series of questions that you ask, to make sure that you guys are on the same page, and it's not gonna go perfectly the first time.
No, you have
Okay.
to feel each other out. You have to understand, like, hey, this is what this person is going to take control of. This is what this person's going to manage. These are my responsibilities that are left over. And once you guys get on a good kind of level playing field about what that means to you, then though the transactions moving forward should go just fine. But you need to have a really good understanding of who's doing what.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And so final words on this episode, what I would tell you is just pay attention to what you're doing. And the question you need to ask yourself is, how is this making me money? Right? Especially as an agent that is not performing to your expectation, you need to be focused on money making activities, money making interactions. You need cash flow, right, to survive. And so once you've got that dialed in, then your discretionary time you can spend a little more time you know doing whatever you want to do, but not until those extremely important things are done first.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it's January 29th. You should be who are my April client? Who are my clients that are going to be closing in April?
right.
Those are the kind of thoughts that should be running through your head right now.
That's right.
And, cuz you've already got things under contract for February. You likely already have people that are shopping that should sign contracts like 1st of March. So it's now it's like, all right, where's my April money coming from? And
That's
that's
right.
the kind of thoughts that need to be running through your head because guess what? If you wait till April, you don't get any April money
That's
because
exactly
these
right.
things take 30 days to close. So just focus on lead generation, new business.
That's right. All right, guys. As always, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Bye.